Okay, so this is my 2001 Honda Dio. It's a 49cc two-stroke scooter. Bought it for cheap, put a couple thousand K on it, then blew it up. So, replaced it with one of these. 1983 Honda Aero 80. This is the 80cc two-stroke motor. Actually came with a bundle of them. So, one went to a buddy, I kept this one. Now we have a new heart for the Dio. Hopefully you can fit it in there. We'll take more videos if so. Okay, so first plan is clean up the motor. Essentially, it's 30 years of old grease on it. Have the whole wiring from the other bike. I have the whole other bike, but it's not here right now. But have a good running one to go off of. This all ran before. My plan would be use the throttle carb gas tank from this model and swap just the motor and that wiring in. Not too sure how that's gonna work, but try and figure it out. Also might do a little wheelie bar and maybe some delete the whole head unit. Get some pit bike bars on there and a little light bar or something. Okay, so old 50cc motor is out. New one's getting mocked up. It's not too far off actually. It's hard to see, but old motor mounts there. Okay, so this is the Dio. Completely stripped down. Just taking off the last of the wiring. But yeah, I'm just gonna be putting it back together. So making this plate to delete the starter because it didn't work anyway. And then it's going back in. I got all the shims I needed for it. Put it back in, all the wiring, kind of do everything up, start it in this form. Then once it's running, I'm gonna put everything back on. Okay, so just made a starter delete because it didn't work anyway. And I've always just kicked my other one. But yeah, it gives me a little bit more room for the motor too, not so in the way, which is kind of what I needed. And I think it's gonna go back in now. I think maybe might put some more pieces back on. Yeah, and this is, assume it's like gear driven vacuum actuated like pump thing. It came from the oil injection system, so I might use that nipple with the, oh, I can't reach that far, mechanical fuel pump that needs a vacuum. Then I can keep the stock gas tank from the Dio and actually use this thing instead of just plugging it like on my other one. But yeah, it's kind of where we sit. Okay, so half walked up. Motor mount's not awesome, but shock's in. Just gonna put the brakes back on and then honestly it shouldn't be too bad. Spaced it out with a little thing I had. I don't know. Might work. Might die. Okay, so a little update. Got the original throttle and cable from the Dio model hooked to the carb of the 80. Be hard to see for a second, but we now have working throttle, which is rad. Got the wiring all kind of where it should be, ran it along where the Dio's original wires were in a lot of the same spots. But I think I'm gonna put some plastics on and then probably steal some fuel from one of those guys and see if it works. And if it works, I'm gonna mess with some of this. This is the Dio's, or the 80s ignition. wires. And this is the Dio's ignition wires. Right there. Which I have the keys for, so I do a lot of the matching colors. Might try something with that. See if I can have the key work. Okay, so that's how it sits. A lot more's happened. Actually, ever so slightly fired up. And I rewired a bunch of stuff, so I'll take a video of that tomorrow, but just getting everything kind of mocked up where it should be. There's a rat's nest of wires back here, and my starter delete came to bite me in the ass. There's a ground that needed to be attached. So now I have a starter and the battery tray with all the grounds and wires of that plugged in, because I wasn't getting spark for some reason till that plugged in. So I'm just gonna finish all the wiring and then rest of the plastics, and then tomorrow I'll fire it up and possibly take it for a little cruise. Got all the vacuum figured out. Just ran the one from the back of the intake and then obviously the fuel line to the front. Okay, so just kind of figured out a lot of where I want the wiring to go. A lot's going to be tucked in the back little spot where the oil tank was. There's lots of room up there now. Just extended a few grounds, getting a couple things buttoned up, but I think it should fire right up. So we're going to try that quick. Okay, so there's going to be, well, there's a lot of oil in it, so I assume this is going to be quite smoky. But yeah, let's go for it. Oh yeah. That's so cool stuff. Well, that was catastrophic. Old Dio plastics are back on. Couldn't get the taillight to work, but we'll go over that next time I'm doing something on it. Ignition wires all got attached, and now the ignition does work, which is super awesome. I put the plastic on so you can't see, but literally just attached the matching colors of wires and it worked. So, pretty stoked on that. Gonna go get some video of it ripping around, I guess, and then that'll be all. But pretty quick. practice and it'll come up. The stretched wheelbase makes it a little weird, I think, but it's kind of working. Try that one some more. Give it a real try. No. Maybe. I need to fix the car or the air filter. Actually, I just have a new one that properly fits coming, which will help a lot.